Here we go. This is Mr. Tipton, and we are looking at integer properties today. Three different properties. Properties are statements that are true for all numbers. When you were in elementary school, you learned several different properties. You may not have known they were called properties, but you do know from elementary school that if you take any number, and multiply it by 0, what do you get? 0. Doesn't matter if it's 3 times 0 or 10 times 0. Alright, or negative 51 times 0. Any number, even a variable, like g times 0, is 0. Anything times 0 is 0. That's a property. That's a statement that's true for all numbers. A division property that you know that anything divided by itself is what? It's 1, okay? 4 divided by 4 is 1. Negative 6 divided by negative 6 is 1. X divided by x is 1. Anything divided by itself is 1. Alright, we are looking at three different properties, three new properties today. And the first one we're going to talk about is the associative property. The associative property says that the way numbers are grouped will not change the sum or product. Sum being the answer to an addition problem, product being the answer to a multiplication problem. Alright, here are a couple examples of that. Let's say I have 2 plus, and then in parentheses, 4 plus 6. Okay? Order of operations, we'd do what's in parentheses first. We'd have 2 plus 10, and then 2 plus 10 is 12. What the associative property states is that I can change the grouping. So instead of 4 and 6 being in parentheses, I could put the 2 and the 4 in parentheses. And I'm still going to get the same answer. Okay? My numbers are in the same order. All I've done is change the grouping. Alright? 2 plus 4 is 6. And then 6 plus 6 gives me 12. I have the same answer, even though the grouping of the numbers is different. It works for multiplication as well. If I do 4 times, and then 5 times 6 in parentheses, alright, 4 times 5 in parentheses, and then times 6, I'm going to get the same answer. 5 times 6 is 30. 30. 4 times 30 is 120. On the other side, 4 times 5 is 20. 20 times 6 is 120. Oh goodness, what was that number? Let's try that again. 2, 0. Associative property. Changing the way numbers are grouped does not change the sum or the product. And again, everything here is in the same order. That's different than the next property we're going to talk about. The next property is the commutative property. This is where the order of numbers does not change the sum or the product. So again, we're only talking about adding problems, and we're only talking about multiplying problems. Alright, look. 4 plus 5 is how much? Oh, very good. You're so smart. If I change the order, and I do 5 plus 4, it's still 9. When you're adding, changing the order doesn't change the answer. Same thing with multiplying. I'll throw some negatives in this time. 2 times negative 3 times 4 is going to be the same as negative 3 times 4 times 2. Okay, I have the same numbers in both problems. They're just in a different order, my product is not going to be any different. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Times 4 is negative 24. Negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. Times 2 is negative 24. Commutative property. Changing the order will not change the sum or the product. Now, it's important for you to realize, to understand that subtraction and division are not commutative. If you change the order in a subtraction problem or a division problem, it would change the answer. Well, looks like I have a mistake here. Let me fix that. We wouldn't use sum and product for subtraction and division. What's the answer to a subtraction problem? The difference. Difference. There we go. That's an R. And what's the answer to a division problem? Quotient. Alright, there we go. Subtraction and division are not commutative because changing the order changes the difference or the quotient. Alright, let's look. 7 minus 5 is how much? 2. Now, 5 minus 7, we know after learning how to combine, this isn't 2. If you have 5 and you take away 7, it's negative 2. Alright, so these are not equal. They are not commutative. Same thing with dividing. 10 divided by 2 is 5, but 2 divided by 10, it's not negative 5. 2 divided by 10 is actually 0.2 or 2/10 written as a decimal. These are not equal. Changing the order will affect the answer to a subtraction or division problem. Alright, one more property to look at, and that is the distributive property. Alright, there's not really a definition we're going to write down. I'm just going to show you how it works. The distributive property offers us another way to evaluate expressions. This is example 1 here. Traditional order of operations, we would do what is in parentheses first. We would say 2 plus 5 is 7, and then we'd say 4 times 7 is 28. Alright, that's order of operations. But using the distributive property, whenever we have a number that is being multiplied by a group of numbers in parentheses, that's when we can use the distributive property. We're going to distribute the 4 to both of the terms inside the parentheses. Alright, so instead of 4 times 2 plus 5, we have 4 times 2 and 4 times 5. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 5 is a positive 20. And so we still arrive at 28. Here's another. Alright, let's go. I'm going to do it down here below. Example 2. Negative 2 times, actually, I'm going to save that one. Change my mind. I'm going to do, let's do 3 times 7 minus 1 in parentheses. Alright, again, I'm going to distribute the 3 to the 7 and the 3 to the negative 1. 3 times 7 and 3 times negative 1. 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. 21 minus 3 is 18. Alright, now let's do an example that has a negative on the outside of the parentheses. Example 3. Negative 2 times 8 minus 10. Always look at the sign on the left. The negative 2 is going to be distributed to the 8 and to the negative 10. We have negative 2 times 8 and negative 2 times negative 10. Right here the signs are different. Negative 2 times positive 8 is negative 16. Then here the signs are the same. Negative 2 times negative 10 is positive 20. And then we need to combine these. Positives are going to win because there are more of them, and they're going to win by 4. Alright, so the distributive property is another option for us to evaluate expressions. Now, why can't we just do what's in the parentheses first? Well, coming soon to a math class near you, is we'll have expressions like this, where we can't do what's in the parentheses first because we don't know how much x is. But the distributive property will allow us to simplify this to 4x plus 24. I did 4 times x and I did 4 times 6. Okay, now you don't really need this right now, but it's coming soon. Write down any questions that you have and make sure all these notes are done. We'll see you soon.